too slow.
Globetrot.
I go after the. See, I'm not.
As a reason to go over to take advantage of women who are not financially stable. You go over there to find somebody who's going to treat you like a king.
Download now on the App Store and Google Play.
Are you ready to elevate your travel game and make every trip unforgettable? Get ready to revolutionize your adventures with Passportbros app, your ticket to turning passion into profit. With Passportbros, your travel videos and posts aren't just memories, they're money makers. Share your awe-inspiring experiences with the world and watch your bank account grow with every click. But wait, there's more. Connect with a vibrant community of fellow explorers, where camaraderie knows no borders. Exchange insider tips, forge lasting friendships, and create memories that last a lifetime. And that's not all. Gain access to exclusive discounts on accommodations, from cozy boutique hotels to luxurious resorts, ensuring you can travel in style without breaking the bank. So why settle for ordinary when you can experience the extraordinary? Join the Passport Bros app today and unlock a world of adventure, connection, and endless possibilities. Download the app now and let the journey of a lifetime begin.
Download now on the App Store and Google Play.
All right, we are live. It wasn't Wi-Fi. It was me this time. We are live. Welcome, family, to another show. It is your man Mac Ferris in the building. All right, and we got a hell of a show for you guys today. Today we're gonna be talking about game players. That's right, game. All right, popping our collars to the dating coaches and the game coaches. Is this game basically needed abroad? I got some guys, some heavy hitters coming through. Got my man Andre from Love Crossing Borders. He should be pulling up shortly. And I also have my man Austin Holloman pulling up as well. So I want to give a welcome to everybody. Hold on, let me take all this crazy stuff off real quick. Want to welcome everybody to the show. We in here, man. We are live. Let me know how I'm coming through on the sound. I got a new mic today, so let me know what's good, Ronan. How everything is. Oh, there's an echo. God damn it. Hold on, let me see. Is there still an echo? Somebody said echo, big dog. Bro, I tell you, bro, you buy stuff, tech stuff out here, bro. You just never know what you get. Somebody still say echo. Let me see. All right. What about now? Let me know if I'm still echoing. Oh, echoing more now. Hold on. Let me fix something real quick, man. You messed my whole thing up. Hold on. Somebody said microphone came from China. All right, hold on. How are we looking now, family? Everything good? Okay, we good. I have to turn something off. I mean, hey, what can you do? All right, let's go ahead and get on to it. Shout out to everybody in the room. Flight Madness say you don't need game to get foreign women, guys with bad eyesight who smash with the lights off. Okay. My man Flight Madness came up in the building throwing shots early on in the game. Shout out my man Rolling Travels in the building. We got my man, what up, Bert? What up, Bert Ross? He's also on the app. All right. Oh, by the way, before we get the show started, let me catch the super chat real quick. I got my man Flight Madness with the $5 super chat. He says, you don't need game to get foreign women, in quotation marks. Guys with bad eyesight who smash with the lights off. All right, you throwing shots. Got my man, Dre the Kid in the building. Somebody said Dominican Tech Products. Hey, I know, right? All right, everybody say we're good on the sound. That's what's up. Yeah, we're going to have an epic show, man. This is a big debate. And I'm actually glad I get to kind of have a little bit of a monologue before all the guests come on. Austin will be here shortly, as well as Andre Love Crossing Borders. And I'm going to bring up my man Flight Madness as well. But the thing is, we were talking about it's so many moving parts here to this quote-unquote game. And I think it came down to the definition of what people think game really is. All right? Some people say it's just about being yourself, being charismatic. Some people will say that will be game. I have my own definition of game, what I believe it to be, but everybody has their own definition. All right? Now, real quick, I want to give a shout out. Hold on. I want to give a shout out to the Passport Bros Facebook group. All right. I want to give a shout out to the Passport Bros Facebook group. We are reaching 24,000 members. All right. So if you haven't already joined, guys, make sure to join the Facebook group. And keep in mind, I do be trolling the group. You know, some people don't know, but I definitely be trolling the group. But you definitely can check out the Facebook group. Now, a lot of guys in the group are actually on the app as well, but you know, we can kind of do a little bit more on our own platform than we can on Facebook. All right. But I want to give a shout out to everybody in the group. I be trolling the group hard. It'd be funny as hell, guys. So make sure to join the Facebook group. All right. We got Will the Thrill in the building with he's also a member of the $9 super chat. I really appreciate that. He says, what's good, BMT? Blessings. Turn down your gain. Okay. How we sounding now, fam? How we sounding now? Somebody said, Aaron Dante with the army of incels. LOL. I guess he's saying about the Passport Bros. Devin James says, wasn't your Passport Bro banging on dating coaches? Now y'all dating coaches? Goofies. Okay. All right. Coach CC said, I'm sounding good. Appreciate that, CC. All right. We've got my man, it's Jay Clyde in the building. What up, Jay Clyde? I know you got a lot to say about this as well. All right. Definitely know you got a lot to say about this as well. What up, Santos Coach? Yeah, we're doing a part 2. We're doing a part 2, my man, because this is like I said, this is a big topic. Now I want to show you guys. Let me just show. Okay, hold on, give me a second. I want to pull this up because this could be considered to be game. I don't know, but I'm gonna show you guys some books, and some of you guys might have already read these books. I know some of my older cats definitely have read these books right here, but I'm gonna show you what kind of helped me in my development just as a man in general. All right. I know most cats don't read books like that no more, but all right, where's that at? Okay, brand right here. I want to show you some books that I read, and some of these guys might consider this to be game. And we're going to get to the subject at hand when it comes to foreign women and the game and all that, especially when we pull some people up on the panel. They should be putting up shortly. But this was a book right here, and I advise you guys to read it, especially my younger guys who might be wondering, because a lot of guys in this generation, of course, we all know in our community might have grew up in single-parent households and might not have had that uncle or that pops around that really kept them, or gave them knowledge on how relationships between men and women truly work. All right, about a man being a utility, and about your love coming with some form of, it's not like when you're a man, all right, your love comes with what you can provide. And that's what it is. No matter how good you look, because looks don't last forever. So this was a time in my life when I read these books. I wouldn't say I was in my mid-something 20s that really helped me in my personal development, all right? This is one book, In the Search of Good Pussy, Living Without Love. This is a really good book, family. I'm telling you, despite the little crazy title, this is a very good book, all right? For, I would say male development, just being as a man. This is Reflections of a Reformed Ladies Man, Just Telling It Like It Is by Don Spears. It's a very good book. An older gentleman gave this book to me back in like the early 2000s or something. And this book was real good as far as just kind of explaining to, how the world sees you as a man. It does deep dive down into how the world sees you as a black man and how maybe you should treat women to a certain degree. All right. Basically be willing to move on at a moment's notice, no matter how deep the relationships get. So this is a real good book. I can't say exactly what off the top of my head, all the super important topics in this book, but I will tell you that this is a very, very excellent book for you guys to check out. Maybe it's on like audio book or something now. All right. Shout out to my man Trey Tibbs, $2 super chat. Really appreciate that. QB Passport Flexing says receipts. That's what's up. All right. All right. I got another super chat. My man Andre. Andre's going to be pulling up shortly. I'd love to see what he had to say on this with the 40 mil super sticker. I really appreciate that. All right. I got another book here that I want to show you guys that was and I know some of you guys got this book. Let me know if you got this book in the chat. This is a pretty popular book, especially amongst the black community. All right. Who all got this book right here? I think it was the cover that got me. As a matter of fact, I didn't even know who Tariq Nasheed was when I got this book. This book was in Borders. If some of my older guys know what Borders is. All right. When I saw the cover, I was just like, okay, let me check this one out right here. All right. Who all got this book right here? Shout out to Dre the Kid. Trey Deal, $2 super chat. Peace to you, BMT, Flight, the whole PP gang. Shout out to you. Iman Perry, you got okay. Trey said he has that book. This is a good one right here. Tariq break a lot down. A lot of people don't know that before he was like an FBA guy, he was into the. I guess you want to say, I don't know. Can you consider this to be dating coach market? I don't know, but this was a real good book. This is a solid one. The Art of Macking. Somebody said I knew you would have this. Yeah, it's a good one. And keep in mind, family, I had, uncles and, pops around that, gave me a lot of information about, communicating with women and kind of seeing how they played, with women and everything like that. So I had some knowledge, but is this, I definitely was an avid reader back in the day. This is a real good book right here. Somebody said the Griff Master. See, sometimes it's not about the actual person. Sometimes it's about the person's, what they bring as far as information. I know a lot of cats be like, oh, he's this, he's that. Hey, if the guy made a good book, then he made a good book. Math lessons and classic material. Now, I'm going to show you another one. Now, some of you guys might not be familiar with this one, but this book right here is a deep one. This book right here is a deep one, fam. This might throw some of y'all off. The Art of Seduction. All right. This is a solid, it's a long read now. You might want to get the audiobook. I know a lot of guys do the audiobooks while you flying or traveling. But this one goes super, super deep. I like this one because when we talk about game, quote unquote, this book right here kind of breaks down the type of, I guess you want to say, seducer you are, right? And it gives it categorizes the different types of, the hot and cold, the dancey. That's the guy that's kind of like Prince, who, really in touch with his feminine side, and, he gets all the women. You got the alpha males out in this book and everything. And it kind of also goes into the history of guys. I think he even mentions Will Chamberlain and everything, of guys that pretty much was with had a lot of relationships with a lot of women. I think Casanova is in this book. So this is a real good book as well. Now, I don't know if you guys could be considered this to be game necessarily, but I think it helps. Roland Travis said, nah, Tariq was a straight pimp, BMT travels. I don't know, travels. Like I said, I'm not really concerned about, the guy's personal, but that was a good book. It was a solid read. It wasn't really too much about pimping as it was about female nature. It was one of the first books that revealed female nature and how women really see men out here. The Black Cleaner and Restore with $2 super chat. Really appreciate it. It says game only in U.S. realness abroad. Okay. All right. That could be true. All right. Azrael says, I used to listen to Matt radio while I was cleaning my house as a teenager. Yeah, me too. Me too. I used to tune into that. All right, my man Uriah Victorious, that's a hell of a name, man, says, got that one. Yeah, this is a good one. Yeah, this is a good one, bro. This is a real deep one. This is one of the books you got to be careful with, though. This is definitely one of the books you got to be careful with. I think this is the type of book that if you one of them guys that might be looking for a polygamous relationship, like more than one woman, this is definitely one of those good reads for that type of stuff right there, too. Jay Clyde said these dudes ain't reading. Well, they might do an audiobook, is Jay Clyde. They might do an audiobook. You never know. All right, Aaron Dutton says, what happened to you just need an American passport and money? That's very true. What up, Style King? What's good? He says, I also have The Way of the Superior Man. I haven't read that one. All right, Moses, S-E-E, Ban, E-Key. Bro, I'm sorry, I cannot pronounce your last name. But I appreciate the super chat with the $4.99 super chat. Says, how much game you need is based on culture. Okay. That's very interesting that you said that. All right. Very interesting. All right. Aboriginal Moore. He came on the one with the he came on the last show, I believe. And I don't know if Original Moore was trolling or what, but maybe, I don't know. You had some solid points to a certain degree. But if you want to pull up to the panel after I have the guest on, you're welcome to pull up as well. Shout out my man Flight Madness once again with the $5 super chat, man. I really appreciate that, my man. He says BMT just blessed y'all with a classic. The Art of Seduction is required reading for understanding relationships and female psychology. It really is, man. It really is. You know, I don't know if I was speaking to you, Flight Madness, or someone else when I was telling people that I said, no matter where you are on this planet, we all understand that, you know, the base female nature is it's the same. It's different cultures, different languages, all right, different beliefs, different social laws, but just the base nature of a woman is kind of the same. And I think that a lot of guys who grew up in this generation without cold approaching and, you know, maybe they didn't have sisters or something, you definitely got to communicate with women differently than you do men. And I think that's the biggest lesson that this book kind of points out. All right. And I think a lot of guys want to be direct. I've seen it with my own two eyes. I've seen guys be able to attract beautiful women just to basically run them away because they think they're interacting with another guy almost. When no, man, it really is about the way you make a woman feel. And I'm not saying this is game. I'm not trying to say a game coach. I'm just saying in general, no matter where you at on this planet, it's definitely about the way you make a woman feel more so than, you know, like talking direct or logical. You kind of got to put the poison in the candy when you communicate with women, in my opinion. Now, some people might disagree with that, but from my 40 years of being on this earth, you know, when I communicate with women that I want to be with, you know, I might not be as direct. Okay. Oh man, shout out to my man Trey Tibbs. Man, you make a good point. I do want to point out Mode 1. It's definitely one to get as well. All right. Shout out to and rest in power to the brother Alan Roger Curry. All right. ARC. He passed away a couple of years ago. I believe that he was definitely at the forefront or front runner to the dating coach market. All right. You know, it's really interesting, man. And I'm not trying to pull off into race here, but a lot of times in so many cases, like when things start organically, it's usually like the brothers that kind of started first. And then it expands and gets, you know, larger than life. And then people don't know where a lot of things originated from. And of course, you've had dating coaches all throughout history or a former dating coach. But I will say that ARC was definitely one of those first guys that kind of came into the market selling books, selling consultations in concerns of how to communicate with women. Now, his approach, I didn't necessarily agree with the direct, hey, you know, come sleep with me right now approach. But if that works for some people, maybe it do. You know, I'm a little different. All right. All right, Mr. Travolta. Now, yeah, real quick before I say super chat, yeah, we all know and understand that we're not saying that you have to be gamified and run all these games overseas. That's not at least not what I'm saying. All right. But shout out to my man, Mr. Travolta, with a $5 super chat. All right. It says dating coaches are funny. They don't want you to pay women because they call it tricking. The coaches want you to pay them instead. What a scam. LOL. Yeah. Now, I will say one of the main reasons that Passportbros pretty much kind of devastated the dating coach market. And I know them guys are pretty much like, damn, what happened to our sales and our consultations is because a lot of these dating coaches never showed receipts. That's number one. Number two is the dating coaches, not only did they not show receipts of their lifestyle, people started investigating and seeing that they was with, you know, not so of the most beautiful women, stuff like that. It started, you know, investigating. But on top of that, some of the dating coaches, some of the bigger ones started to try to get into the Passportbros space, going into Colombia, going into Brazil, and trying to do like dating matchups. And the biggest issue was they wasn't being genuine. That's one of the bigger issues. They was not being genuine because what they were doing, and this came out all throughout the media in Medellin, and I believe in Rio as well, was they was hooking up Western guys coming out there, telling the girls that were pretty much professional women of the ladies of the night, saying, hey, play down the fact that you're a pro and kind of lead this guy on, right? So the guys would, come over, they would go to Colombia, they'd go to Medellin, they would go to these quote unquote mixers, thinking they're approaching, regular women, and the women would be playing a role just so the guys can feel like they got their money. And what happened was, a woman came out, she's saying that, hey, we didn't get paid for our quote unquote services. We still should get paid for our time. And that's when the Medellin or I think it was like the government somehow got involved and kind of exposed this and actually told the dating coach guys that it had to leave the country, right? Get on out. Now, I think this happened in Rio or Brazil and in Colombia. All right. So that was what's going on. So I think when they did that kind of tarnished the dating coach market to a certain degree. All right. Now, I'm not saying you guys are putting out names in the chat and everything. I'm definitely not saying no names here. I'm just saying in general that I believe that's what happened to a lot of some of the dating coach markets. All right. All right. My man Jay Clyde says, stats show that 98% of fellas traveling don't have the skill set to live abroad and don't have the ability to sustain a relationship with a foreign woman. That's okay. So you're basically saying that guys, you say they don't have a skill set to live abroad. Okay. Or you're saying that they don't have the remote jobs to be able to sustain a relationship overseas. Okay. I understand what you're saying, Jay Clyde. There's some truth to that. Yeah, Jay. Yeah, I mean, yeah. All right. All right. I got my man Player with a Passport on the building. I'm trying to catch the first quote, but I don't see it anymore. It's Player with a Pace. It's out the mud experience. All right. All right. Flight Manager saying being super direct mode 1 with women usually only works if you're really good looking or if the woman is really in the mood for some action. Yeah, Flight. I would say I'm not saying I disagree with it, but I mean, I never came off of just super direct with women like that. Nah, man. I mean, ARC used to be going hard in the paint. Rest in power to him. But he used to be going hard in the paint. He used to be like, walk up to women and tell them like, what's exactly what you want. I'm like, man, that shit don't work for me. Especially in this day and age, this Me Too day and age, bro. The way they be, if you're a high value guy, and the way they be kind of like, throwing cases on dudes nowadays, I'll be real careful with that shit. All right, shout out to Etini Brazil with the 20 mil pesos. I really appreciate that. A solid dude that's successful can get the woman he seeks. No games or tricking needed. Okay? Shout out to you. All right, J Class says they don't have the remote jobs. And they don't believe in bringing them back to the States. I mean, some guys do bring them back to the States, believe it or not. QB, if you want to pull up, you're welcome to pull up, man. All right, shout out my man QB. Me and QB was actually supposed to do an entire show on this, actually. We got to definitely do another show. I hate to say I do a part 3, but we definitely got to do a show, QB, Passport Flashing on this. $4.99 super chat. I really appreciate that. Looks, maxing, and basic social skills will trump any game tactics. Okay. All right. You know what? In my opinion, and I'll see Simone, it really depends on maybe the circle you grew up around, right? Because me and my cousin used to always say, hey, man, looking nice is good, all right? We know women love attractive men. They love tall men, muscular men. We get it. They all like a little something else. But if you ever been around a certain dude that just know how to speak, right, with that mouthpiece, that shit trumps looks. And I've seen it with my own 2 eyes, bro. I got an uncle, literally, guys, that's like 5'5", 5'4", and I guarantee, man, he'll pull any chick from you, all right? Because his mouthpiece is that serious. The guy could be a comedian or something. Got like 20 kids out here, beautiful women. I'm not talking about no bullshit girls either, no fat girl. I'm talking about this guy, was with the shits. All right, because he just was able to communicate and talk to women and make them laugh. All right, I want to welcome my man Andre on the show. Let me move this book out the way. All right.
And that's a great book collection.
Hey,
what are you talking about?
Oh yeah.
It's a
man.
great book collection. I'm like,
Yeah, man.
I'm writing down because I'm always looking for some new books or even some classics to put in my collection. So you just got me looking back like, oh man, I forgot about that one. I forgot about this one. Don't forget to put the Black Man's Guide to Understanding the Black Woman up there.
Oh yeah, yeah. Where's that
You
at?
know, yeah, that's a really good one as well. So yeah, the Art of Seduction, that's another good one. Absolutely correct, man. But yeah, man, you got some classes up there. So I wrote them down. So I said, let me go ahead and order these on Amazon. I have those here, faster than Aaron sent me a Passport Bro t-shirt.
I still owe
I
you
can
that
get
t-shirt.
books faster than
Hey,
Aaron
hey, hey,
sending
hey,
me.
hey, you know what's crazy, bro? I've sent out so many t-shirts. I swear to God, I just be forgetting, bro.
Man, I haven't had one. I've been wanting to wear one of you. I'm like, you know what? This man let me just create my own t-shirt brand, and I'll be wearing mine before I get a chance to represent my own brother.
Right, man. I gotta
feel
get you
her.
that shirt, Andre. Man,
Yeah,
what's going on
man.
today, man? What's up? What's good with you?
Oh, you got a great topic, man. You're talking about is game needed for most countries, or let's just talk about South America or even the Caribbean since you're in DR. Is the type of game, I'm going to say this is very important, guys, is the type of game needed, the key word is type, in South America or Central America based on the type of women that you deal with compared to the United States as well as the West. It's not game that you need here in the United States because you're in South America because you're dealing with if you're doing it right, you're going to be dealing with a different type of woman. And I've seen guys do that. It's the type of woman, and what you are looking for. So it's the what and the who in South America. And I've seen guys that are kind of like how you just named your uncle that had that mouthpiece. It doesn't matter how many times the other dude next to him been to the gym. It doesn't matter if you're a gym rat and you don't have any confidence in yourself. And then you got the uncle come along at 5'4", and he may not be a pretty boy. He might be looking like Lil Wayne, but he always be with the niceies.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because
man.
he has that confidence. So no matter where you go in the world, you're going to have to form. Here in Colombia, you notice this in DR too. In Latin countries, it's not necessary what they're looking for as far as the confidence only, but does your masculinity shine? Because here in South America, yes, they're looking for you. You're looking for that feminine woman, but they're looking for you to show forth a form of masculinity. And that form of masculinity is confidence. Give you a perfect example. Here in Colombia, you got to go ask her to dance. I've had women ask me to dance, but 90% of the time, they're looking at me like, are you going to ask me or not, Andre? You see what I'm saying? They're waiting for me to do the manly thing just to ask, and then they can live in they can sit in their femininity by saying yes. I find that out a lot, that everything is kind of like masculine, feminine down here, masculine, feminine down here a lot. And women say all the time to me that we want our men masculine because it allows us to sit in our femininity. So to have to run game is that I can't agree with that. The other thing about game that you may notice, and I notice, usually when we talk about game in the United States, we're talking about who can manipulate who into getting what we want. We usually use, okay, if she says, I do that. Like when I was in the States, I used to say, okay, if she say this, I'm gonna say this, that, and that. When I say this, she gonna respond to this, so I'm gonna respond like this. I'll play this 40-second mental game in my head as I'm walking up on her. If she comes with an attitude, I'll tell this joke. If I'll say this, you notice how in the States we always say, what's the best one-liner you've ever heard, baby? And you have these guys that tell what some of their funniest one-liners are. To whereas in Colombia, ain't nobody walk around talking about who got the best one-liner. The best one-liner is buenas. ¿Cómo está? ¿Qué número es? Mi Andreas. ¿Y tú? That's it. Just saying hello. And then the next thing you know, you're starting a dialogue. And you can attest that in much of South America and in the Caribbeans, exchanging either your Instagram or the WhatsApp number is a part of saying hello.
Okay.
You see what I'm saying? You see how fast it is. You get somebody's number. You be flabbergasted. You be what? did she just give me her phone number like that fast? Like it was as if you said, hello, what's your name and your number? That's how fast and how easy it is in South America to really get somebody's phone number without having that. Let's go back to what we're talking about, the game of manipulation. That's the game. There are two different types of games that are playing, like baseball, basketball, football, hockey. Yes, it may be considered some type of game, but it's not the game of manipulation that we have in the United States. That's the issue. We want to manipulate her to get the end result that we want in the United States. Do we want that in other countries? Yes, but not the way we do it in the States, because there's not as much pushback or masculine energy pushback as we would get in the States.
Okay, so you basically saying that because there's more feminine energy, there's no wall that you have to hop over, utilizing game as a step ladder. Basically, they
True.
just open. You just pretty much can just pull up. Now I want you to address it. I'm gonna bring Austin on in a second, but I want you to answer this comment by his Dre the Kid real quick. He says dudes think they can pull up with that little blue book and some dollars, then get a real one with no effort but a U.S. face card. What would you say to that?
I have to agree 100% with Dre the Kid when he says that you can't just pull up and say, look at me, I got a passport, I'm a foreigner, and I got a few dollars in my pocket. Remember what I said, it's not just what results you want to get, but it's who you're walking up, excuse me, who or what type of woman you're walking up on. So, yes, are there women that'll go for that? But are they the women that you want long term? That's the question that you want to ask yourself.
Okay.
Because if a woman is willing to easily be manipulated by the fact that you got a few dollars in your pocket and a passport, you're walking up on the wrong women in South America. Because remember this, you can attest to this, Austin can attest to this, as well as you, BMT, that real women in Colombia don't trust us automatically because they've seen some of the things on the news headlines that Americans quite often do to each other. We walk up into schools and delete little kids. We delete each other in the middle of a parade. They see our news. They see us come down here and quite often may even delete one of their fellow Colombian females. So now Colombian women don't, if y'all think Colombian women trust y'all always talking about, we as men are always talking about getting scopolamine, or she's going to rob you, or she's trying to hustle you. Don't think good Colombian women trust you as easy as well, because they've seen some of the stuff our fellow brothers have done to women of Latin descent also. So it's both of us learning to trust each other in that initial conversation. So that's why that game of manipulation, trying to manipulate her, is not necessary, because like you said, she's automatically coming with that feminine energy anyway. So you don't have to go past her masculine energy like Austin often says about what goes on in the States when he approaches women. It's not that combativeness. In the United States also, and I'm going to let Austin speak, in the United States, I also notice it's almost like this, convince me why I should give you my name.
Yeah.
Oh,
Convince me why I should give you my number.
It's Cash App now.
Yeah,
It's
right. Cash
Yeah.
App me. Convince me with Cash App.
Yeah,
You will never hear somebody in other countries talk like that.
Yeah,
Talk about
Well,
convince me why I should give you my
Here
name.
go my Cash App. That's my name, right?
Well, I'll tell you what else they. Go ahead.
Now go ahead, Austin. Go ahead. I'll catch super chats later. Go ahead.
I'll tell you what else they don't say in these other countries is I'll be feminine for the right man. And I always, when I used to hear chicks in the States say that, I'll always say, you know what? I'll be masculine for the right woman, but in the meantime, I'll be in my feminine energy as a man. Sounds crazy, doesn't it?
It does.
That's the
As you think
logic.
turn it on and turn it off.
Yeah,
So
go ahead.
So let me go ahead and ask you right off topic, Austin. What do you think about that? Do guys need game overseas?
No, like Dre was saying, you just need basic conversation. The best one-liner is, "Hey, how are you?" Just basic conversation. You don't have to come up with a magic hit line, a punchline to open up a chick. Either she likes you or she doesn't. That's the biggest difference, if you ask me.
Okay. Okay, let me catch the super chats real quick. I got my man, Mr. Travolta, with a $5 super chat. Says, it's usually us bros that get hung up on tricking versus game. Every man pays one way or another. Dinner dates, wife, cash, sugar baby cash, or P for P. Every man pays. That's a whole nother topic. That's a big one.
I'm tired of
I
hearing
agree.
that, man.
Yeah,
But
that's a whole
to a
nother
I,
certain
topic right there.
go ahead.
Go ahead, Austin.
no, I mean it's true that no woman is free. You're not gonna date any woman for an extended period of time for free. Not
Mm-hmm.
even a hookup buddy. It's not gonna be free. At some point, she gonna catch on.
Mm-hmm.
But again, there's a difference between pay for play and just somebody that likes you. But
Mm-hmm.
that's like you said, that's a whole nother topic. But I don't know why dudes keep saying that. We know that. We know that women aren't free. We know that.
And the only reason they say that is because they're trying to say it to make them feel better about
Yeah.
themselves and the decision that they're making with their money. Well, everybody pays in one way or another.
Yeah.
So what's wrong with me doing pay for play every time I come to Colombia for the last 15 years? Everybody
Mm-hmm.
pays. No, you're just saying that so you'd feel better about your decision
Yeah. Yeah.
and trying to kind of like downplay our decision to pay like for on a date or in a marriage or in a relationship. Yes, every man will pay, but not every man doesn't pay your version of paying. And they don't want to admit that every man pays, but not every man pays like you guys do when it comes to pay for play. We're not saying against it. We're not saying anything against it, but yes, everybody pays, but just stick to you talking about your type.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Let's
Yeah.
talk about your type of pain and don't try to make it equivalent to our type of pain.
Okay, I got a question from Flight Matters for you, Dre. $2 super chat says, can
Uh-huh.
Andre clarify his definition of game for us?
I actually, in all sincerity, the definition of game based off what I said earlier,
Mm-hmm.
that when I first used to use game in the United States and I used it for years, was manipulation to get what I wanted. I manipulated, and it was purposeful lies, deceit, con. Sometimes it would be a challenge. I know she ain't gonna get nobody in this club her number, but I'm gonna go for her anyway. Sometimes it was just to get the challenge. For some of you guys, you can attest, and some of you guys in the comments can attest. You will sometimes get a female phone number and throw it away. You just want to prove that you can manipulate her with your game. You didn't even want the coochie that night. You took that number and throw away or lost it. You ain't never even called her. I've done that plenty of times just to run game. The game of manipulating a particular person at a particular time. Now, fast forward to South America, I don't have to run that form of manipulation. Like you guys are saying, I could just be Andre, regular Andre. I don't have to be Dre the Ripper like I was in the States.
Okay, I got another comment here, and I want to throw a curveball too after I read this to you guys. Ash L with a $5 super chat says it's such a bad faith argument to say dudes think they can show up with a blue passport and money and get chicks. It's a stupid argument. All right, I guess that was for Dre the Kid, but shout out to my man Ash L with a $5 super chat. All right, I'm gonna throw both of you guys a curveball now.
Throw it.
Okay, so let's say I'm just a newbie traveler, right? Now, Andre, you've been living in Colombia. Austin, you've been all around the world. If I ask the question, I say, well, Andre, give me some information on how I should approach a Colombian woman. And you give me some form of information. You say this, that, and the other. Is that not form of game?
No.
Okay.
That's just telling you, that's just letting you know that there are cultural differences in how you would approach or your expectations of approaching an American woman compared to a foreign woman. For example, yes, you have to mentally prepare yourself in your approach for American women because quite often they're already subconsciously prepared to tell you no. How many times have you guys seen guys walk up to a female in the United States? You haven't opened up your mouth. You're still 5 paces away. No. Don't say nothing to me. They have a t-shirt on that says unacceptable.
Mm-hmm.
They already prepared mentally to embarrass you or belittle you or put you down many times. Not all the times, but many times in the United States. They'll walk around with a mean mug. They, like Kevin Samuels used to say, they don't smile. So you have to come with that form of overcoming all these barriers. Now, if I tell you about how to approach women in Colombia, you know what? One of the first things I tell guys about approaching women in other countries, you don't have to worry about what you're worried about in the United States. Nobody's going to sit back. No. Have you ever seen anybody in Brazil or in DR or in Colombia tell a guy, no, speak to the hand? All that is US. So when I give you information on approaching women in Colombia, one of the number one things that I say is you ain't got to do it like you was doing it in America.
Okay, Austin, you want to take a stab at that question?
I would agree with everything he just said. Like, for example, I was approaching a woman here on the street today here in Sao Paulo. I thought she was smiling at me, but I guess I thought wrong. But I asked her for a WhatsApp, and she's just like, "No, I don't have WhatsApp." So but she said it with a smile. You know, it's a completely different energy. Versus in the States, they will try. So two things. First of all, they're gonna try their best to embarrass the shit out of you. Like it seems like that's like a goal for them. Second, they're oh, like you said, the barriers, right? So you have to have a strategy just to get them to even, I've had dudes where if she says this, say that. And I'm like, why do I have to do all that? Now I'm being somebody I don't want to be. Like that's not me. I just want to talk normal. Like, and then it's one-sided because now it's just about entertaining her. I don't see how dudes find that entertaining for themselves, but it's not for me. I got enough work to do already by myself. I don't have time to try to figure out how to get somebody to give me their name.
Okay.
That's true.
All right. Now I want to play this clip real quick for you guys, and I want you guys, if you guys can hear it, let me know.
Oh yeah.
What's your guys' opinion on this? It's gonna start probably in the middle, but I'll let the whole thing play through. What you guys think about this, right?
With the woman that's truly interested in you is important. It's imperative. Same thing for you ladies. Go after the man that likes you. Stop chasing a man that's not interested in you. See, I like who like me. I don't go after the female that I like all the time. I go after the female that likes me. See, I'm not the guy that's trying to convince you to be with me. If I gotta convince you to be with me, that means you're not that intelligent. If a woman don't see all the work I've done and put in on myself to see my growth and development, then I'm not in the business of convincing her that I'm the nigga for her. Some women gotta see the God in you. You don't gotta tell her everything you have and who you are and what you about all the time. Some women gotta have the knowledge and the wisdom and understanding and the discernment to see the value in you. She can see God vibrating all through me. So she knows I'm a leader in the right direction. Because an intelligent woman with good common sense, she gonna know that this man is a leader. That's the man I want to stand next to. That's the man I want to champion. That's the man that I want to be involved with and see my future with. So go after the woman that likes you, man. Because you're gonna have a smoother.
Okay, that's pretty much the basis of it. What you guys think about that? What do
I'll
say?
tell you this. Whenever I approach, I'm bound to walk off within the first 5 seconds. So the mindset he has is go for who likes you. I can decide that instantly. Hey, how are you? Where are you? I'll ask a question like, so where are you? Or let me say, how are you? She just says, good. All right, have a nice day. I'm gone. That was it. You didn't even ask me how I was doing. She doesn't like you. The chicks that I've went on dates with, kissed, etc. They would ask, how are you back? Because they're interested. It's really that simple. When I'm on dating apps, at first I'll be trying to convince like, oh, let me message her. Let me try to open her up. This is worldwide too. Now, whoever I match with, I wait for them to message me first. Honestly, the women that I go on dates with off dating apps message me first. I just found it to work that way. And it's just operating off of high interest women and without trying to convince them, like you said.
Okay. I want to give a shout out to my man Flight Mask to our super chat. Isn't all persuasion manipulation on some level?
No.
Okay.
Not at all. Not at all. And this, the irony of it is, guys, the guys that are still in the States will not understand it until they're in the situation in other countries to experience that. Just like my brothers in China, no one will understand when he says, that it's not like back home in the West until you're in China experiencing it for yourself and you have your own personal aha moment. So you guys can watch what and hear what we're saying, but until you actually are creating your own receipts, you only understand a percentage of where Austin is coming from when he says, I only wait for them to speak to me. And some of you guys can't fathom the thought of like, wait a minute, I'm online and I'm not responding to women. And usually statistically they say that most women don't speak to men and you're going to wait. Yes. And he says, I have a good result of doing that. And some of you guys, you couldn't even fathom the thought of that.
Let me mute you, Danny. Yeah, a little feedback there. Go ahead, Andre. What were you saying? You want to finish?
Yeah, some guys can't fathom the thought right now. And the reason why I say that term right now is because as you continue on your journey to travel to other countries and you get into a true dating arena and you're not doing 100% pay for play, you'll see what we're saying about the simplicity of just being yourself. I think one of the things that Austin said was one of the things that I have been searching for, I won't lie, my whole life in the United States in regards to dating. I never was myself. I always had to be Dre the Ripper. I always had to come up with a slick, smooth way to get the coochie. I never had to be always had to be the guy with the nice cologne, the perfume. I had to have the smooth look, the smooth talk. I had to be the best dancer. I had to be the dude that was charismatic enough to where I could meet the mayor or I could meet their dad or I could just meet one of their homeboys. I always had to be something other than what I wanted to be. I always had to be the dude that had 2-3 women, so at least this one woman would want to be with me. Now I come to these other countries and I can finally not be Dre the Ripper. I could be Andre Spence. And I'm appreciated when I walk up on a woman just being Andre. That's 100% correct what Austin said. That I've been looking for that my whole life. And finally, we're going to countries where we can just be who we are.
Okay, let me catch a super chat. I'm gonna welcome Danny to the show. T Matt with the $4.99 super chat says, "I never needed game in Colombia. Look neat and clean, smell good, be polite, and be interesting, but honest. The quality is so much better on average." Shout out to my man.
Don't
Matt.
for a second. Don't run past that honest part.
Mm-hmm.
That was just as important as the cologne and the quality. It will amaze you how many women in South America will give you a chance as long as you ain't lying, or they don't sense that you're lying. Remember what I said? Here, women here in South America, just like other parts of the world, have to get to know to trust us as foreigners and know if we ain't lying, because the last foreigner hurt her cousin's feelings. So she got in her mind like, nah, foreigners hurt people's feelings. Why? Because he hurt my cousin's feelings.
Bro, that is 100% the truth. I remember when I first moved to Colombia, I was dating this girl, and she told me that she had taught a brother. She said she taught him Spanish, and he ended up sleeping with her cousin. You know, like,
Damn.
I'm like, and she's had now. She's like, yeah, you guys, you American guys. I'm like, it's not all of us like that. But she's like, yeah, you guys are bad. You guys are bad. But I also want to, before I welcome Dad to the show, I also want to say something too, Andre, because you reminded me when you said that you can be just Andre Spence and not Andre the Ripper, right?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you ever been in this situation where you knew a chick that liked street dudes, right? You can kind of tell that she liked the street dudes, and you would kind of maybe not be a street, you wouldn't be somebody else, but you would kind of push up your edginess a little bit, right? You would kind of overplay it. I know I've done it several times in my life.
Yeah.
At one point, I don't care what you say. At one point, if you want a street dude, you weren't getting no play like that. You get some play. Everybody will get some play, but the street dudes had it all. And I remember in certain cases, I was trying to play up my little edginess, and then something happened around the bride, and I'm just like, oh shit, I ain't gonna, you know what I'm saying? Like, ain't no street nigga, ain't no, I don't know what you gonna do about it. I ain't gonna do a goddamn thing. I'm about to go home and read my books, bitch. So
you know what I'm saying? I got my hat turned to the back for no reason.
I know all and some guys in chat, I know y'all did the same goddamn thing too. So don't front like back in the day when we had the long ass t-shirts. Y'all were acting like y'all was on some street shit. Just stop.
For real. Everybody want to be a part of Cash Money Millionaires with all these white tees being sold across the country.
Bro,
knowing we all got half of us got a stamp collection in real life.
I used to have a homeboy, right? He used to like show this picture of his house and shit. He's like, yeah, I'm from the hood, baby. I got this, and the house was like, it was a nice house he grew up in, but you know, houses get old with time, right? So he's like, yeah, I grew up in the hood. I'm like, bro, you ain't grew up in no damn hood. Like, get out of here, man. But that was what up, Danny? We getting off the subject, man. What's up, man? Oh, hold on,
Hey,
take
can
you
y'all
off
hear
mute.
me?
Yeah, yes, sir. Yeah, you got a lot
Okay,
to
man.
say about
Nice to
this
meet
subject,
y'all.
man. You was on the original show. What you got to say about this?
Yeah, man, I'm very passionate about this, man. Like, honestly, I like clearing up people's misconceptions about things. So, for example, like this definition of game, you can have one definition, like it's kind of like playing up something like a fake image, but I think that's a very narrow definition of game. For me, game is kind of like any method you use to get to a certain like objective. So, for example, there are some guys who they're like, hey, I'm a celebrity, I'm like a rapper. I use that to get women. Like I have friends here in China who they work with rappers. They work with these Chinese rappers, and I can tell you these Chinese rappers they try to act just like American rappers, like using their kind of fame and their status to like get girls. That's one kind of game. There's some guys who are like really good looking. You know, they do that look maxing thing. Like, hey, I'm tall and handsome. They use that method to get game. There's some guys like your uncle who they rely on their mouthpiece. So for me, game is just kind of any level of kind of persuasion on some level, either indirect or direct. And I don't think it's about putting on a facade. I think it's about kind of representing, being very conscious about your communication. So, for example, I sell services about like, you know, English teaching, whatever. Like I help guys get into that. I could just put on my website, I could just put like, hey, give me money and I'll get you a job, blah, blah, blah. But I craft my communication in a way that kind of hits people's emotions and it makes them excited to sign up for what I'm doing. So that is kind of game, that is persuasion. And one of the reasons you use game is that if you aren't hitting the woman's emotions, and like I'm assuming that the woman you're talking to, if she's attractive, you're not the only guy who's interested in her. You might not be the only foreign guy in the room who has money or the only decent looking foreign guy. So yeah, being neat and clean and having basic social skills, that puts you in the running, but that's not going to get you to a home run if you're not the if you're not the only guy she has access to. And if you're talking to an attractive woman, she probably has other options besides you. So game helps you get women that you normally wouldn't be able to get just based off, you know, who you naturally are. Like game is like kind of, for example, if you have that mouthpiece, you can like kind of work women's emotions a little bit. So that even though you're not the most tall and handsome guy in the room, she's ignoring those other guys and she's looking at you because you know how to work her emotions in a way that other guys don't know how to. And I'm definitely not the most handsome guy in the room a lot of times, but I'm able to pull women from the club better than they are because I know how to take women on that emotional roller coaster. And just to give you an example, I was just at the club an hour ago. I have a friend. He's like a tall white guy. He was married to like a Chinese woman, a short Chinese woman. He just told me today that him and his wife, they're getting a divorce. So like in the beginning, their relationship, you know, they started off really good. They've been together for years. But he told me, man, like she's trying to take over my freedom. Like I can't do nothing. Like she's trying to like control me. And that's what happens when you don't have game, because if you don't have game, the woman's going to take control of the relationship and she might just run that relationship off a bridge. You know, like she might destroy it. If you're not in control of the situation, you got to have relationship management skills, because you don't, you know, you could end up like the relationship is good in the beginning. Like, yeah, you're attractive. Everyone likes each other. You're hooking up really good, but things can turn badly if you don't have skills. So game is just very useful. And I think most guys, you should have a certain level of knowledge of female psychology and how to make them emotional and how to get them to follow your lead, because it's not a natural thing. I don't like this argument guys say, oh, it's so natural, it's like it's just basic. Like, no, it's not basic, because a lot of guys who are smart and successful, they can't do that. They have terrible relationships with women all the time. There are lots of successful guys who have terrible relationships with women. So I don't believe that, oh, just be successful and everything is going to be okay. Like, no, like you got to have some kind of skill.
Okay.
Yeah, you do. I would agree. You do have to have some basic knowledge on how to talk to women. That's why I always say on my
Mhm.
channel, it's not like you said, just show up with your passport. I'm American. Everything works all of a sudden. Like if you don't
Right.
know how to, if you can't have a conversation, if you're making me bored, yeah, you can't. You're definitely not getting no action. That's for sure too. So I would agree with you on that. I would agree.
And
It
also,
Yeah.
takes practice.
also the part regarding just your physical presence, like Danny, he makes sure he takes care of himself in the gym. All of us are taking care of our health in regards to who we are as men, so that plays into it. A lot of you guys get off the plane with your passport and you have a pocket full of money, true, but your teeth are high yellow. I'll say that again. Your teeth are high yellow and you haven't used lip balm in about 4 years. So now your mouth crusty, your lips is as purple as Obama's were when he first came into the administration.
Bro,
And
I'll be asking like, dog, did nobody teach y'all how to brush your lips with peroxide and baking soda? I hate when girls have the dusty smoker lips. That's what I hate though. I'd be like, man, y'all know how to brush your. I didn't mean to interrupt you, but that's one of my pet peeves too.
That need to be said. That need to be said. So if you're going to come with what was considered a form of game, do realize also there is a nonverbal form of communication that you remember. All communication is nonverbal. 85% of communication that you're saying to this woman is nonverbal.
Hold on. Let me slow you down real quick. But now you talking game now. That's game. What you just said was kind of game, bro.
No, for me, it's not. It depends on the individual. And I'll tell you why I say that. Whether I'm talking to a woman or whether I'm just going to the gym by myself, I'm going to be smelling good. I know that if I'm dating somebody or if I'm not, I'm going to the dentist every 6 months. There are certain things that are part of the makeup of who I am, to where other people needed to use it as a tool of manipulation of game. That's who Andre Spence is. I'm going to always have an iron t-shirt. I'm going to always have a nice hat collection. Whether I'm going to meet a woman that day or whether I'm just feeling good about Andre that day, or it's just a hot day and I need a baseball cap. To whereas what I consider just basic grooming that may be attractive or may not be attractive to some women, some brothers don't even take that in consideration. Just basic grooming, not realizing that 85% of what we say to a woman is nonverbal communication. So how you dress, if you're slouchy or do you stand with an arch, do you look like you take care of your health? You ain't got to have the best physique, but do you at least look like that you've been to a gym in the last 6 months? Is your breath stinking? You ain't said a word. As soon as you open up your mouth, ha, your breath got superpowers like you an X-Man. And so all these nonverbal things a person has to take consideration before you even think about trying to manipulate and be all cool and be all fly. Some of you dudes come down to these countries, I'm telling y'all, man, y'all grooming skills are shot to hell.
Man, you talking about them New York dudes, man.
You don't get a haircut. You looking crazy in the face. You ain't got your beard groomed at all.
Dudes from Mississippi.
Oh, man.
All right, let me get super chats real quick. Shout out to Mr. Travolta on this subject again. I don't know why you keep putting this in the chat, man, but I do appreciate the super chat. See what I mean? It's us bros that make the distinction. 200 for a date to smash or 200 to pay your girl's phone bill to smash is the same thing.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
Stop
it is
saying
far
that.
from the same thing, brother.
Damn, I'm a trick and I'm proud of it.
No, you smash your girl as much as you want throughout the month. You smash paper play that 1 hour, and she's gonna rush you anyway. And it's
if
not
you
gonna
want
be
her
wet.
again, you got to pay another 200.
And it's not gonna be wet. It's not the same.
I ain't got to pay another 200 to my wife. You got to pay another 200 every time you try to smash that same coochie over and over and over and over again.
Yeah, man, like it's a big difference on wondering if your girl slept with 8 dudes before you met her. You know what I'm saying? Like it's
that day.
That day
she smashed 8 dudes before she met you.
You guys be making any excuse to raw dog. Oh, it's the same thing. Nah, bro. Like,
it's not the same thing, brother.
They want it to be so bad. You know,
they really do.
In this space, I noticed it's like 3 types of weekend warriors, right? You got the guys that obviously can't really attract a lot of women, right? So they go overseas, they doing what they doing. They paying. Then you got the guys who can definitely attract women in the States and overseas, but they like to have fun. So it's more like a casual, and even the local guys do it. The local guys are like the biggest customers. They pay, do their thing. Then you got the guys that, might not pay because they do have some form of looks or game or whatever you want to call it. but they still with the same type of women. So you got 3 different types of guys. But the problem is the guys that can't attract women will try to project that onto you. This is why in a Facebook group, like when you post a picture of a chick that you went on a date with, they just like, oh, how much she cost, man? How much she cost, man? Or how much you pay for that, man? I'm like, bro, it's a regular fucking date, dude. You gotta like relax. You don't have to, you know what I'm saying? It's not always pay for play overseas, my brother. So that's one of the things that's kind of like, some guys just want to project that every girl that you date or talk to is a pro. That's just not the case in the passport.
That's true.
Space.
Hey, can I get in real quick? Andre, like I saw a picture of you, man. Like you're like pretty tall. You're like 6'4" or something, right?
6'3", yeah.
Yeah, bro. Like you're pretty tall. Like so. Like here's the thing, y'all. I was on a live stream the other day where these guys were saying like, okay, we watched this video, right? And he's like, he doesn't want to like persuade women. He's like, I want the women who want me. I want the women who just naturally want me. And in my experience, that works a lot better when you're either really tall or really good looking. So like guys who are really tall or really good looking, there's going to be a lot of women who just naturally like you to the point where you can kind of stand in front of her and you don't really need to persuade her so much. You don't need as much game as guys who aren't, like guys who aren't 6'3", they're gonna have to work a lot harder to keep the woman's attention compared to like a guy who is 6'3" or a guy who is really handsome. So that's just something to keep in mind. Like you for example, you might not need game. So I'm not saying you do need game. I'm saying that if you're gonna try that approach of just like I'm just gonna stand there and I don't want to persuade the woman at all. I just want women who like me for who I naturally am. That works a lot better when you're really good looking. If you're not really good looking, you're not going to have the same results as Andre or someone else who's not, you're not going to have those same kind of results. So you got to keep that in mind. And some guys are okay with that. Like some guys are okay with like not getting like the top quality women. But I'm just saying like for me, I'm not okay with that. I'm not okay with like settling for less. So that's why I'm willing to put in the work to, the game. Like I'm willing to work the woman's emotions a little bit because I don't like going home with like 3s and 4s. I don't want to do that.
Well, let me ask you this, and I agree with you, but to push back a little bit, don't you think that you'll forever have to maintain that and that disrupts your peace a little bit?
It does, but think about it. Like for example, like all of us, we run businesses. It's not all peaceful, right? Like you got to disrupt your peace a little bit in order for you to have a higher quality of life. So it all depends on how much you value women. Like, do you value having relationships with beautiful women? If you do, then you might have to deal with a little BS sometimes. It just comes with the game. I think all relationships, at some point, they might involve a little bit of discomfort. And it just depends, like, if you really want to do that or not. So having your own business, it gives you like a lot of flexibility. Like a lot of us, we all living overseas, making money, making videos. But you got to put in the work. If you're not putting in the work to make the business work, it's not going to work for you. So I say, be willing to put in the work for what you want, and don't settle for less because it's easier. Life is like a struggle. Sometimes you got to put in the work, or if you're not willing to do it, you're not going to get the results.
All right, I got a super chat by my man. The child, the father super chat says, "How is Daddy's definition of game different than what Mr. Lucario preaches about game?"
I don't know much about Mr. Lucario. Maybe y'all can explain him to me. I've heard him mentioned, but I don't know. I don't know his philosophy.
Coach. He's like a dating coach.
I don't know, guys.
I think your definition is exactly the same because Lucario will be acting like he got 20, 30 different women. It's more to it with Mr. Lucario. Shout out to Mr. Lucario. Lucario, he'll be wanting me to pull up on his panels too. I'll be peeping that shit, man. But it's all good. All right, shout out to T-Mac with the $4.99 super chat. The key word is be interesting. I've been to 40 countries and worked the most in Japan and China. Colombia is more presentation and presence. All right. I mean, there's definitely some differences. I definitely agree with that. But I would say, generally speaking, man, you really don't need. It's the definition that we're getting kind of caught up on right now. I do believe you just got to be yourself. In getting women overseas, you don't have to overexert yourself. You don't have to magnify certain things. You don't have to be somebody that you're not. You could be a gentleman overseas 100%. But I do think when you get into the interworkings of a relationship, that's when some of those books, or some of the information you got from your uncle or something will come into play, and you can consider that to be game once the relationship really starts. All right, because as a man, there's certain things you just can't do in a relationship. You can't be boohoo crying at soap operas or nothing like that in front of your woman. All right, you got to keep you got to keep your male frame. You can't be having your toes all up looking at TV like that. You know what I'm saying? You got to do certain things.
Right.
When you're a woman, you just got to always keep your male frame and stuff like that. And when life gets hard, you don't really want to run and confide in your woman. You might want to just call your boy or even your mama or something. That's what your mama for. You vent to your mama, you vent to your homeboy, but you don't necessarily, open up. Like when women say, hey, I want you to be in touch with your emotional side, bullshit. Don't do that shit. Trust me. Don't do that shit, man. I've done that shit. The shit they never look at you the same, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I don't care. I don't care how emotional that movie is. Do not cry in front of your woman. Clear up. Say you sniffing or something, right? All right.
But also with the height thing, it may seem beneficial in the States or in the West where you have a lot more taller women, things like that. But I found that you guys that are 5'8", 5'9", 5'10" can be just as successful in Colombia because most Colombian women are under the average Colombian woman is 5'5". After that, it goes down to 5'4", 5'3", 5'2s. You'll find a few tall women here in Colombia, yes, you will, but not like you will see in the States. So if you're a guy that's 5'10" in Colombia or even 5'8", you still winning just as much as I do. And also, I know guys that have the height like I do and even have the looks, but they are such socially awkward guys based off how they were raised or whatever the situation is. They come across with an air of shyness or quietness in other countries. So yes, he may have been a winner in the States. Now he's in Colombia. He knows very little Spanish. He's got the looks. He's got the height. He's got a pocket full of money. He's got a U.S. passport, but he's so socially awkward that he either can't relate to how Colombian women treat him just as a regular person, or he thinks that something is wrong, or I don't know how to approach. I see guys with my heights and my looks and my abilities falter. So, and I've seen guys that are shorter succeed. So, I think because of the height differential between the United States women and women in other countries, doesn't impact as much.
Andre, would you say that the height thing is kind of like the West? Because
I would really say
had an issue.
I mean,
I'm like 5'11", right around 6 foot when I throw some sneakers on or something. But I noticed that when I was in Brazil and a woman asked me about my height, it was like she was German or something. So I can say that could be somewhat of the West. But other than that, I've never, it's never really came up, even in the States so much so. So I think the height thing is really big in the States more so than,
I mean, you hear it here a little bit in tongue in cheek in South America, but from all the women that I talk to in South America, it's not a must. I've seen it's crazy. The craziest thing I've seen guys that here, and I mean many times I've seen guys that are 5'6" with women that are 5'8", 5'9", 2 kids, very happy. She looks like a supermodel's trainer of supermodels, and she you see what I'm saying? You see that all the time here in South America.
I remember when I was doing a consultation and I was giving this guy all this information, and he was like, "Hold on, BMT, man. I appreciate all the good information, brother, but I gotta keep it a buck with you, man. I'm 5'4". Can I get women in Thailand?" And I was just like, "Yes, brother, yes, okay." Like they're not really, height is cool, but they're not tripping. I said, Asia might be the best place. I said, really anywhere overseas, brother. But yeah, Asia, it's like, because most of the guys are super tall. Danny, you might be different because you in China is more bigger population. But, most of the guys, especially in Southeast Asia, they, a little smaller. Shout out to my man, Charles Keys, send you over the $2 super chat. Says, I prefer a woman that does not speak English. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. I'm not mad at you at all, for real. Mr. Travolta with a $5 super chat says, only black USA guys say this. No one is just. God, it's the same dude again. All right, no one was justifying the P for P. It's just your ego, guys. No woman wants you for you. They want you for what you provide.
I
All
love
right,
when
If
dudes.
you believe
I,
that,
I,
stick with that.
yeah, that's what I was about to say. Do you, brother?
he ain't
Do
dropping me.
you? If
He
you
ain't
think that
dropping me,
no
bro.
woman on this planet wants you other than just for you, go with it, bro. Ride it out. Ain't nobody gonna try to convince you otherwise. Because you know how I always say, when these cameras go off and the live stream ends, you got to live with that definition, not us.
Yeah, it's. I mean, I know guys don't want to say it's different. I mean, that's like a big. I mean, we can go into the whole rabbit hole about that little topic, man. Because even in the group, oh, you still paying, but that does not give you an excuse to be just 100% trick, bro. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on, man. Like, we all know what happens when you leave with your wallet. You know, you got these guys getting relationships. They be married for what, 1, 2 years. They get divorced. They get taken for the house, the car. So I don't advise that, bro. Still be yourself. Still get a woman. You know, give her a couple of shit tests to make sure she's there for you, man. But
Mhm.
yeah, we know the part about providing and all that. We get it. You still spending money. We understand. But it's the difference in the quality of woman. That's the big difference. A woman is supposed to be still an assistant or a counterpart to your productivity throughout your lifetime, bro. Okay, she's still supposed to be a lifetime partner. You can't you can't dress that up for a street worker. You know what I mean? Like you can't do that. So that's a big difference.
And
People,
if
just keeps wanting
it
to try
wasn't a
that, bro.
difference, we wouldn't have the term in our community. You can't turn a into a housewife.
Facts. Even though I've seen many guys do it or try to do it, you
Try.
know, I've seen it. Shout out to T Mac says I'm 5'8", barely, and the women in Colombia think I'm tall. Shout out to you, man. Shout out to you. All right, Trey Tibbs with 5 super chat says on the subject of social awkward for the panel. When you first started traveling, how did you overcome the awkwardness that you developed from the U.S.? I'm not really socially
Meaning,
awkward though.
I
I'm more
think
of a
maybe he means that, maybe some of us came here with a little understanding of the language, or uh, not understanding the cultural dynamic of dating in that particular new country. I would say the way that I overcame it, I did deny that it was there. I knew that the learning curve was there, the learning curve of
okay.
language, the learning curve of how men and women related to each other. Like here in Colombia, it's a very touchy feely, holding hands, public affection. In South America, there's going to always be kissing somewhere in public. There's going to always be somebody touching and feeling. That's not the United States. So you have to become comfortable and admit that there's some things that are even culturally, not just language wise, culturally you're going to have to accept. A lot of times in Colombia, you meet people through people. In the United States, you're not getting hooked up by the female. I'll give you a perfect example. The female in the United States will put you in the friend zone and never introduce you to any of her friends. I'll say that again. She'll put you in the friend zone and never introduce you to any of her friends. In Colombia, a female will put you in the friend zone, introduce you to her cousin, her auntie,
Facts.
her
Facts.
sister, her
Facts.
niece, her nephew. I mean, her niece who's of older age, her best friends, her co-worker. So you may be in her friend zone, but she the hookup queen. Now she your wing girl, and you ain't even asked for that. Those are the socially awkward things that a lot of us have to realize that we're going to have to admit when we first get to these new countries. This is how it works. If I get put in the friend zone, it's not a bad thing for some women because they're going to hook you up. If she fine, she going to introduce you to some fine women.
All right, I want to ask Austin this. Now Austin, you still there? We might
Yeah,
have lost
yeah, yeah.
Okay. Now, shout out to your boy Floyd, man. Would you consider him to be a little bit socially awkward? Like, have you guys went out on like double dates and he kind of? What do you think about that? What do you say with that?
Let me say this though. I'm not gonna bash him,
Right.
but I am gonna tell the truth, and I'm gonna say stuff that I have already said to his face.
Mm-hmm.
Floyd does not have a problem when he puts on the clothes that I tell him to.
Mm-hmm.
When he stops walking around in a damn red shirt and them headphones. But whenever he does do it, he has no problem getting women's attention and getting them to actually listen to him. And I've seen him talk to several chicks for like an hour straight in person. I think Floyd just defaults as if he hasn't grown mentally outside the states where not like he hasn't grown to realize that it's different. So he'll default with, like you said, trying to be somebody else. And
Mm-hmm.
then every time I've seen him do that, he loses it. He'll
Mm.
have them, and then he'll default to it, and he'll lose it. I've tried to tell him, but I mean, shit.
Mm.
You can only tell him so many times, man.
You know, the reason I asked you that, man, is because I don't know if you guys have had this experiences with trying to hook up guys you might know or meet with, like double dates and friends. But uh, in my experience, it always turns out bad, right?
Yep.
And that's why I mentioned Floyd, because I had a guy named Eli in Colombia, and I hooked him up with, at the time, my girlfriend, sister, beautiful woman, and he just destroyed it. You know what I'm saying? Like, just totally, totally dropped the alley oop. I mean, dropped the alley oop, threw it to the other team, went out of bounds, everything, bro. I mean, he had the girl crying. And the sister, my girlfriend looking at me like, why did you hook us up with this guy? I'm just like, I don't, I don't. I thought he was. I just assumed, that he was good with women. I don't know, but you guys are right. There is, because he was new to Colombia, so there is a thing. And I tried to explain to him. I said, "Look, bro, we both using the translator. They don't understand our jokiness that we have and our back and forth that we have
Sarcasm.
in America.
Colombia doesn't have a form of sarcasm.
And that's what I'm trying to explain to him.
They don't know what that is.
I'm like, bro, you are blowing it for me right now, my man. Like. And it's not only this guy. It's been other guys that blew it. It was one guy that just promised me that he was just so good with women that he was. I was telling him, I'm like, bro, don't f this up for me. By the time at the end of the date, the girl left early. Matter of fact, she went to the bathroom and didn't come back. You know what I'm saying? That's how much she didn't like the guy. And they do that. Like when these foreign women really don't like the dude that you hook them up with, they not openly rude or anything like that, but they might pull a stunt like, oh, I gotta go home or something. Or so I be trying to tell guys like, look, man, just listen, ask some basic questions to her, but don't try to treat her like you're treating an American girl, because in dates in America, especially from our community, we'll joke around and go back and forth, call each other big head, shit like that. But overseas, it's just like they don't get it.
I remember the first date that I went on with Andrea, my wife, and she told a joke, and I said, "Oh man, you stupid!" And do you know she was extremely offended? Why would you call me stupid? I said, "Calm down. It means," and I gave her the definition of the Urban Dictionary, meaning that was funny what you said, or hilarious, or it was outside the box. It was unexpected from a person like you. It was funny. And now, fast forward, she knows as much slang as from talking to all you guys in the WhatsApp, because you guys know my wife speaks English, so she's in the WhatsApp group, so she know all the slang now, and she knows sarcasm now. But dude, I kid you not, the first year plus, she didn't know what sarcasm was. She didn't know what our urban our US version of jokes were. And so you're right, certain things that you could say in the States culturally, because we can relate to each other, you can't bring those cultural dynamics automatically to China and think that it's going to come across the exact same way.
Facts. Black Man Travels, he threw a little shout at you, Danny. He said, Danny Boy, with his game tactics, is persuading women to like him.
Yeah, and it works. Okay, Black Man Travels. I was on his panel the other day, and look, there was this one guy on the panel, and like a lot of guys like to cap about the types of women they get, right? And it really annoys me when guys say they don't need game, and then they talk about, hey man, I'm over here smashing 9s and 10s. I'm like, okay, so you're saying you don't need game, but you're getting like the top quality women in society that only superstar celebrities are dating. One thing I want to talk about really quickly, because I think I got both of you here. I got Austin and I got Andre here. One thing that's important for us to point out is that when a lot of these guys, like we hear them talking about, hey, I'm getting like the 9s and 10s, they're definitely not getting what we consider like the local 9s and 10s. Like, for example, like in society, like for example, in Thailand, in China, South Korea, pretty much every country, there are women that the local guys consider to be 9s and 10s. And those women are usually very different than the women that us black men consider to be 9s and 10s.
True.
So when you hear these guys talking about they're getting 9s and 10s, they're definitely not, because I tell you, women who are 9s and 10s, especially like in a country like China or in Thailand or anywhere, those women are dating like celebrities, or those women are dating men who are at the top in their society. Those women don't date foreigners. So it's just important for us to clarify that, the beauty standards. I saw some guy in the comment section. He wrote that, hey man, I'm over here dating 7s and 9s. I get, he goes in the 7 to 9 range, and I'm like, no, you're not, bro. Like, I doubt that you're getting above a 7 unless you're like putting in the work. And that's just these are kind of facts. Like, I've never seen like a 9 with a foreigner.
You know why they say that, Danny? Because a woman that's a 6 in South America is a 9 and 10 in the United States. There are Brazilian women with the samba legs and calves and body build. And, in Brazil, they stay in the gym and take care of their bodies. And that's not the norm in the States. 70% of all women in the United States are considered overweight or obese. I'll say that again. Statistically, 70% of all women, my mama, cousins, aunties, sisters, co-workers, all those women, 70% of them are considered obese in the United States. And then you come to Brazil. And not everybody's a supermodel, but there are a lot of women that take care of their physique. Or you come to Colombia, where they eat differently because the food is different. And so they're built different because they, like Aaron says, in many of these countries like DR, they walk everywhere. So now they've got these calves and these thighs that you ain't never seen. And in your eyes, she's a 9 and 10. I'm not to confirm what Danny said, it just hit me. I've had this chick, and I know she attractive. She's got to be a Colombian 8. My first trip to Colombia, take her back. We had dated a couple of days. Take her back, and I finally hit it. On my way out, I take her to her Uber. She drives off. Right. I'm on my way back in. This was in Parque Lleras, in the hotel in Parque Lleras, before Parque Lleras is all wild and everything. The front desk guy pulls me to the side. All he said to me, didn't ask me for my name or nothing. You know what he said to me, Aaron, Danny, Austin? She's not attractive. Now, in my mind, this is an 8. But to a local, she's not attractive. That's all the brother said. He ain't say, here's my name. He ain't say, Andre. He didn't say, Mr. Spence, I'd like to let you know. All he said was, like me. She's not attractive. He's absolutely correct. What the locals see as the 8s, the 9s, and 10s, what we call 8s and 9s and 10s is a totally different thing. We're calling 8s, 9s, and 10s women that they grew up with since kindergarten. In their minds, like, whatever. They have their own version of what an 8 and a 9 and 10 is, and many of us have never dated their version of an 8, 9, or 10. He's correct.
That's one of the benefits of being, a traveling or a passport, bro, is the fact that you're absolutely right. Like, if you in Asia somewhere, Cambodia, a lot of those guys with, I would say, resources are looking for the lighter, whiter Asian girl. Skinny, the doll look. But the brothers might be looking for the thick Asian girls, with a little brown complexion to her. So that's the benefits, like beauty is in the eye of the beholder a lot of times.
True.
What we like is different than what the local guys like.
True.
A lot of us like a little meat on our bones. Not all of us, but some of us like a little, a little juice box back there. So that's very true. And once again, that's one of the benefits.
Does Austin have anything to say about this one?
Go with what you like. Go with what you like. You the one that got to live with her.
Facts. Let me get super chat real quick.
Well, because that's honestly and I'm not saying this in an insulting way, but honestly, if we gonna base off who we gonna date based off what the locals think, that's the same thing women do. Oh, all the chicks, like when I started posting all these chicks on my YouTube, my Instagram, I just started running through women. When I was just a barber and I was telling chicks like, oh, no, I don't fool a lot of chicks. I ended up traveling. That's what happened. I ended up traveling because it was like the social proof wasn't there. So women think like that, but as men, I don't give a damn who looking at her. I know I want to fuck her.
Mm-hmm. That's a good point. That's a real
Yeah.
good point. All right,
I think BMT has lost his internet.
we're hijacking this show. You ain't know that? This the BMT hijack. We're taking over. All right, guys. BMT is gone, so now we're about to have a real show with some real statements. Shout out to the man Danny in the building, representing the boys out there on the other side of the world. Danny's always
Y'all are
showing some
welcome in
love.
China, man. Y'all are welcome in China, man. Y'all come over here. I'll show y'all first class everything, man. I'll take y'all around my city. I just got back from the club like an hour ago. Like I was sending Aaron some videos of me at the club, man. It's great now.
What is
Like
it like clubbing in China? Is it different from the state's version, or are they imitating the state's version, or what is it?
I honestly I left America when I was like 22, so I didn't really have many years of clubbing. The clubs I did go to in America, like it didn't seem very fun. But in China, it's like, lots of people, lots of beautiful women walking around looking their best. You don't see women walking around wearing bonnets or anything, and you see top quality women. Like I was out at the club tonight, man. It's like, I see hot chicks there, and it's just a good feeling. Like, I can just walk out. I don't have to look hard. I just walk out. I walk downstairs and I see beautiful women. It makes me feel good. I don't have to search hard for women, so they're everywhere.
That's a good point. You do not have to search hard in other countries for beauty and femininity and fitness compared to back home. That's a good point.
I'm gonna catch super chat real quick. And I got a question for you, Andre. The Black Cleaner Restore with the $5 super chat says persuasion is showing the real benefits to get a yes. Manipulation is faking bait and switch to get a yes.
That's a good point.
Good point, Black Cleaner and Restore. All right, so what I wanted to ask Andre was about the differences. Would you say that in America, guys are expected socially to date women in our same age bracket?
Yeah, definitely.
So
Think about
it.
it.
It's a stigma in America versus overseas where they just kind of want a man so you can be like 10, 15, 20 some years older.
Yeah. It's a westernized. It's the same thing in UK for the most part, Canada for the most part. It is a westernized mindset that you are taboo if you're dating. If you're like near Leonardo DiCaprio, whose girlfriend is 19 years old, because he gets rid of them at 25. And women are in an uproar because this guy is out there doing it. Even though he's a celebrity, multimillionaire, very famous, they still are in an uproar in the West because they're seeing this. But no other country is tripping on Leonardo. No other country. No. If I took my wife back to the States, we'd end up on Jerry Springer, Maury, and all those other talk shows. 27-year marriage difference. How do they make it work?
Oh, man,
you guys can't even understand the same music. You don't understand the same cultural differences. You're not even of the same generation.
They would call you a sugar daddy.
Yeah.
That's how they would rationalize it.
She can't love him. It must be for the money. Girl, tell us the truth. Why are you with him? And then women will sit back and say, well, he's only with her because he needs somebody to take care of him in his old age. Instead of just two people meeting each other and saying, hey, I appreciate you. I want to get to know you more. I want to get to know you more. And it worked out no matter what age it was. And what my wife often says, that there are women in the world that just rather skip the line. And I said, what do you mean by that, babe? She said, there are younger women in the world, instead of just waiting for men our age to mature and grow up, we rather just skip the front of the line, get with a grown man anyway. That's what we all want as women anyway, a mature man that's not out here acting a fool and knows how to get his paper and knows how to treat a woman and knows how to lay it down in that bedroom and knows how to not act a fool in public, knows how to groom himself. If every woman wants that anyway, my wife is like, why don't I just skip the line and get to those men anyway? Why should I wait for a younger dude my age to grow the hell up when I could just go ahead and get with a grown man from day one and I'm good? She says, and I can also learn from an older man as I come into my full womanhood.
Yeah. You heard what J-Lo said. She said, don't even look at a guy under 33, right?
Yep.
But Austin, I got a question for you, Austin. And shout out to the Black Cleaner Restore with $2 super chat. Andre is cooking. Like, what's the oldest you would date a woman? Do you date older women, or you pretty much like women around your age or younger?
Ain't nobody safe from Austin. Nobody.
See, another Dre the Ripper.
So you dated 45, 50. You don't matter.
I'll fuck my grandmother. Not seriously, but I will.
Okay. You say
Have you
was
seen
dating
some of
a
these
grandma?
grandmothers in South America?
Especially in
man?
South America. Especially in
Come
South
on
America.
now.
Now you know
All
what,
age ranges.
Hey, I'm gonna tell you, these Dominican grandmamas, they be bad, bro. I be looking at them in the grocery store, be like, damn, you
That's
still
right.
and in Colombia,
Right.
like they still got they high school body basically, like nothing. They
Yep.
had about 4 or 5 kids, but
Well,
they still.
Yep.
It's got to be the food or some shit, man.
let me ask Dre. So if the younger women are trying to skip the line, what advice would you give to younger men? Because since the
He's trying to
younger women
compete
want
with
the
you,
older
Drake.
men.
You know what, the in all sincerity, the advice that I would give younger men is some of the things that we're talking about today in regards to, do you need game and you don't need game, being culturally aware. If you're going to these other countries, be culturally aware that there are some things that you're going to have to embrace. You can't bring all of your American mindset to other countries. Like, you know what I would say in all sincerity, Austin, and I want to say this initially. If I was a young dude, I would do like you. I would take the time out to be on the learning curve of life. I would learn more about different cultures, different languages out there, and I will respect each culture and each language that I'm learning as I'm out there. Just like you're doing. With each country, I see a different Austin, or at least each continent, I see a different Austin, and how you behave in Africa is completely different from how you were in Thailand. How you were in Peru and Paraguay is completely different Austin that I see. See, you're as a young person, you're wise enough to say there is some areas of development, and I can grasp hold of global masculinity to help me with the development of my masculinity. I'm gonna say this again. The one thing that Austin has done, he's learned global, a little bit of masculinity here. He's picked up a little bit from there, a little bit from this country and that country, as well as the masculinity that he had from the States, and putting it all together. And now this is the maturity of the Austin Holloman that y'all see today compared to the Austin Holloman of, a few years back. So if it were me, that's how I would do it. I would literally take advantage of being open to being on learner mode of the different forms of masculinity around the world.
That's a good point. A lot of guys can take that advice, Andre. Say a lot of guys around, at any age can take that's some good advice. I want to give a shout out to Will Thrill. He's also a member with a $9.99 super chat. Man, I really appreciate that. If you are a 4 or a 6 in the States yourself, it's likely you will attract the same outside the country. I don't know about that one, bro. Many aren't used to dating really truly beautiful women. Just real talk.
So
you gotta make that adjustment. I won't deny that it's been times when I was in Medellin, Colombia, and I'm looking at my girlfriend like, why the fuck is she with me? You know what I'm saying? Like, this girl is drop dead gorgeous, beautiful. So you will have those moments. I'm not gonna lie, but that's just something you got to get used to, because that's what happens when you get overseas. You're gonna attract beautiful women, so you're just gonna have to adjust. It is what it is. Shout out to my man Charles Keys with sending you over $2 super chat. She can stay with her boyfriend $30 a day, or me $30 an hour. I'm lost, brother.
We over that, man. We over that.
Man, yeah,
are we going back to the same?
Thank you for the super chat.
Pay?
He could have made that super chat $30. That's what he should have did.
Yeah, I'm that might be our next topic, fellas. God damn, they they don't want to drop that.
These dudes, not all of you guys in the chat, but it's too many dudes that are traveling that just don't want to admit you ain't got no confidence in yourself. I'm not even using the game term. You ain't even, if we had to use game, you ain't even got the confidence to use that. Let's be honest. There are many guys that use pay for play as for fun, and it's nothing wrong with that. But it's many of you dudes that use pay for play because you ain't got no balls to walk up to a woman that's that attractive on your own in another country like the man on this panel does. and you don't want to admit that in public. But since we're men too, just like you, and we're having barbershop talk, we're gonna straight tell you, we know why you spend your money the way you do, because you ain't got the balls to walk up to that exact same woman and get that without having to come out your pocket immediately. And so, guys, let's stop lying to ourselves. There are some guys that use pay for play for fun, and then you're enjoying yourself. You're on a short trip, and you just want to get you some in. And those guys are cool. But some of you guys have been using pay for play in DR for 10 years because you know your fat self, you ain't been to a gym, your teeth high yellow, your breath stinking, you still got earwax in, you got the ugliest feet on 2 feet. And so you know that if you dare to walk from under the umbrella of pay for play and try to walk up to a regular woman, you know rejection after rejection after rejection. So what do? You try to mask it under, I'm going only for vacation anyway, so I'm doing pay for play. Or you try to sit back and pretend as if, well, I'm not ready to settle down, so I can do what I want to with my money. It ain't tricking if you got it. Lie to yourself however you want. When we cut these cameras off, you still a dude that ain't got no balls to walk up to a real woman in Brazil, Colombia, or any part of Southeast Asia. And we know it, and now we letting you know we know it.
Like I said, man, that's one of the things I see in this travel space is like you post a picture in our Facebook group, and guys is like, how much you pay for her? I'm like, bro,
because they feel they gotta pay.
What are you talking about right now, dude? Like, so, all right, shout out to Black Man Travels, dudes dating big backs while overseas, seen them
shout out to BMT.
Receipts. Black Man Travels is coming here just throwing shots at everybody. Shout out to Black Man Travels. All right, shout out to T Mac with the $4.99 super chat. Really appreciate that. It says age stigma does not exist in Colombia. I tried to intro a 23-year-old to my son, introducing a 23-year-old to my son, but she wanted to date me. 21 friend told me my 35 cousin was young. Okay, I see what you're saying there.
That's what Andrea says. Andrea says if you're under 35, she wouldn't give you time of the day anyway. And a lot of her friends are like that.
BMT, can you scroll up? There was a comment from Player with a Passport about you can absolutely date 8, 9s, 10s locally. Do you see that one?
I do not. I'll look for it though. But you want to respond?
Okay, so yeah, I want to comment on this because here's the thing. He's technically correct, but it's also kind of incorrect, like in terms of like the level of difficulty. So for example, here in China, let me tell you about this. I have a German friend. So in Asia, he's considered really handsome. Like he's one of those types of guys, like when he walks down the street, Asian girls think, wow, that guy is really handsome. So for him, he's able to smash like kind of 8s and 9s, but he has a very difficult time keeping them. And he has game. Like I know this guy. His game is pretty decent. But the thing is, like when you're getting girls at that level in society, like I said, those girls are like dating like athletes, like professional, like super rich guys who like their family has like billions of dollars and they're really tall and good looking. So basically, those women have a lot of high value guys going after them. So even though he's a handsome German guy, he can't keep those women. So he can maybe smash them maybe once or twice, but then those girls, like, they just stop talking to him. So like one of the issues that we face as foreigners is that we're kind of on the outside of a lot of societies, like these societies. Now you can learn the language, you can like start a local business and etc. You can try to get yourself ingrained in the society, but I think on some level you're always going to be an outsider. So it kind of puts a limit in terms of like, okay, this girl, she's a 9. She literally has access to the most powerful rich men in her country. Is she really going to go through the trouble of dating a foreigner? Probably not. Like she might hook up with you once or twice, but it's like it's an extreme level of difficulty to actually lock down a local 9. But yeah, it technically is possible, but it's just like it's so low probability for the average guy that, I think you're just lucky that your taste in women might be different than local guys. First of all, you might not even be happy dating a 9. Like, first of all, a 9, her expectations are probably super crazy, so you probably wouldn't even be happy dating her in the first place, even though she might be very beautiful. So just keep that in mind.
Another thing about 8s and 9s in Colombia, for example, and I just to piggyback off what you said, Danny, 8s and 9s, true Colombian 8s and 9s are rich dude side chicks. You rarely see rich dudes married to 8s and 9s in Colombia, but they are usually some dude with money side chick. You rarely see a 8-9 in a solidified good relationship. They're usually just some type of party chick or some chick that's sitting up in some penthouse, perched up in some penthouse and being spoiled and taken care of, but she's some dude's side chick. That's usually, if you want to see a true 8, 9, or 10 in Colombia, they're usually some dude's side chick. But remember, there's nothing wrong with this, the 8s, 7s, and 6s in Colombia, because compared to what's going on in the West, they look like 8s, 9s, and 10s. And that's why we think sometimes that the one I got is an 8, 9, and 10. But when you walk around Brazil, you start to realize, man, I see a lot of women that look like my woman. There's a lot of women that's in the gym that look like my woman. So you start to realize in their country, they're not an 8, 9, and 10. But from your westernized eyes, you assume that, man, my country, she at 8, 9, and 10. I like what one brother also said. He said, Andre, I don't agree with you. He said, and I paraphrase him, basically, what you just said is let a man do what he want to do. You know, in regards to if you want to pay for play for 5 years, 10 years, let him do what he want to do. You're absolutely correct. Cameras off. But I'm going to give you a quote. Most of you guys, and I'll say this in all sincerity, this is fact. This quote says, most men die at 30 and are buried at 80. Most of you guys, when it comes to socializing with women, let's be honest. The reason why you pay for play, because you already died at 30. You ain't going to be trying to put no effort in to be a silverback, a gorilla, or be a saber-toothed tiger. Your saber-toothed tiger days are over. And so you're not going to even, because you believe, not because you don't have the chance, but because mentally, since the age of 30 or 35, you believe that there is no way a gorgeous woman would dare to like you for you. You'll die at 30, but you'll be buried at 80. And some of us in many other areas of our lives, that's how we are. We give up on ourselves too early because the results are not moving as fast as we want to.
Hey, BMT, I appreciate you having me on, man. I gotta head out.
Oh, for sure, man. Until next time.
All right,
All
Austin.
right, Danny and Andre. I'll see you guys next time.
All right,
Yes,
peace.
sir.
Appreciate you coming on, bro. I hit you up.
See ya.
Uh-huh.
I also want to ask the panel this real quick too, and I'm about to close the show in a moment. We've been at it for 2 hours. I appreciate everybody tuning in. But have you guys ever heard, like you're dating? I know you've been married for a while, but a local girl say she doesn't like last night. I was talking to a Dominican woman. She was like, "Oh, I don't date Dominican guys." You know, have you guys ever heard that in y'all experiences when you say I don't date? So my question to her was, okay, why do you prefer dating foreign men or American men over the Dominican guy? And then she tells me all this stuff about, well, Dominican guys are like this, they expect you to do this, expect you to do that. Do you think that we're kind of messing up I don't know if we want to call it dating market, but relationships overseas by maybe coming in with our Western standard of, maybe going out to eat every night or don't have to require a woman to cook or something like that? She also said that, Dominican guys got like 4 or 5 women all over the island, but just in general, like, do you think the reason that some of us are pulling these beautiful women is because these women think that we might be different to a certain degree?
Yeah. What do you think, Danny?
Yeah, so like one thing you guys gotta, I mean, I don't want to speak for every country, but in my experience, based off what I've seen with Asian women, so there are some Asian women who just like they like foreign culture and they want to like experience the world, so they're open to dating foreigners. I think most women in general are open to dating foreigners. The women who specifically choose foreigners and they exclude their own men, in my experience, based off what I've seen, a lot of those women they had bad experiences with local guys, and it kind of made them start dating foreigners because they realized they can get a better deal when they date foreigners. So, for example, there are lots of girls who I think are really sexy who Chinese guys think, oh, that girl looks kind of, why is her butt so big, and like, why is her face so round or something. But for me, she's like a 9. But for local guys, they like, and those girls, maybe they got bullied when they were a kid. Like a few weeks ago, or maybe a couple months ago, a girl told me that, hey, I got bullied when I was a kid. So like I don't like local Chinese guys. Like, they were very rude to me when I was a kid. And I think a lot of girls are like that. A lot of girls who you see who exclusively date foreigners, they kind of got rejected by their own uh group to a certain extent. And they kind of just go to the other side and they realize, hey, like, foreign guys think I'm beautiful and like I can go to the nightclub and like I have all these like tall, handsome guys who want me, and my own guys aren't giving me that kind of attention. So there is that aspect, and I think a lot of the girls who like exclusively date foreigners, they might have that kind of past, that kind of dark past where they got, et cetera, everything. Yeah.
Now, here in Colombia, where many parts of South America, since the women have that voluptuousness that many of us like, with the big behind and nice breasts and small waist type of thing. I've asked that my question to my wife: what is it about women such as you that are interested in foreign men? And my wife says there are many of us that are interested not just in the man, but in the foreign culture of, we know our own country, we know our own language, we know our own foods. But there are many women that are educated that would like to say, I want to date a foreign guy because now it gives me a chance to learn new recipes, new language, new foods, new slang, new the news from somebody else's perspective, how they see the world. So there are women that that are of the intelligentsia that are attractive in Colombia, that are attracted to foreign men because we're the newness, not necessarily the newness of, oh wow, he's the new guy in town, but you bring something to the table as a foreigner that Colombians don't get a chance to see on a day-to-day, or Brazilians don't get a chance to see on a day-to-day basis. So they can ask you, what do you as Americans see as about President Biden or Trump compared to us in South America? These conversations could take place. That's why my wife says that she's interested in, and many of her friends are interested in foreign men, because it's like you're learning something, they're learning something, and it's not the same. Oh, I know what that Colombian dude is gonna say. I know what that Colombian dude is gonna say. I know what he's gonna say. It's the same. My wife said, from generation to generation, we see the same thing, same people in our family over and over again. And she said it's boring to many of us ladies now. We want to meet,
basically.
Yeah, new experiences of life coming through the eyes of other men. The other thing, and Danny can attest to this, a lot of women like foreign men because we show them the beauty of their own country through new eyes.
Oh, damn. You know what?
There are women, my wife loves Colombia now in a whole new way because she sees it through my eyes and you guys' eyes, compared to I complain about our Colombian politics, complain about inflation, and then when they see us and we're like, ooh, wow, look at y'all, got this, y'all just don't understand how beautiful y'all country is, how beautiful y'all women are. And now all of a sudden they appreciate us because they can see their own country through our eyes.
You know what? You're absolutely right, man. I took a woman to Faro, which is Colombia's burial museum. Some people say he buried there. Some people say he buried in Spain. But it's this large, like, monument or museum, but it's kind of like a lighthouse at the same time. And she told me, she was like, "Oh, I've never been here." I shot a vlog on that too, guys. I'll put it up in a moment, sometime this week. But she was like, "Oh, I've never been here before. This is beautiful." So you're absolutely right. Like, everything is new to us. So somebody might say, "Oh, I've never been there before." Of course, I would love to check it out because the guys who usually dates don't want to do the kind of do the touristy thing because it's old to them, right? I also want to come on this comment real quick by Romeo Guerrero. Says, us Dominican men are not worried about the women that say that. DR is saturated with beautiful women. Yes, Romeo, you are absolutely
Correct.
right. It is abundance of beautiful women in this country. It doesn't make. I'm just still in awe. I'm still in awe, bro. God blessed you guys on this island. He really did. Okay.
Yeah, that's how we were when we were there.
Hey, God bless the Dominican Republic, Colombia, South America, all of it. All right. Young
Yes, he did.
J216 with 999 super chat says, most of the time a foreign woman says that they don't like their own men. They're strags, hyenas who are somewhat Americanized. 99% of the time a Dominican woman says that, it's super cap. I can believe you, Young Jay. I'm not saying it wasn't cap. I'm just telling you, and women can tell you what you like to hear too. it was just a casual conversation. So you're absolutely right. I mean, she does have a baby by a Dominican man, so that makes sense. Shout out to Uriah Victoria with the $5 super chat, super sticker, just showing support. I really appreciate that. All right. I got T-Mac once again with the $4.99 super chat. I appreciate it. He says, I appreciate the content and I just want to support my brothers. That is the reason for super chats. I appreciate the dialogue without the foolishness. Yeah, this was a laid back panel. This was laid back. This was not very argumentative like some of my other panels be. Sometimes we can get wild and reckless up in here. You already know that, Andre. You got shout out my man Good Time Grego. But before we go, I want to show these guys this because this is what you was talking about, Andre. I want to bring up this point that I actually wrote a blog. Some of you guys are familiar. I started off writing blogs. That was my first thing I did in a travel space where I was writing blogs about my travels. And this is how to become a diff, a dad I would like to, what? All right. And this is some of the stuff you were saying in this article we posted on the app. All right. And one of the rules was ditch the dad bod. We all know that. And like you said, Andre, exude confidence. That's a big one, right? Exude confidence, okay? Dress the part. There's a little funny section here. We're saying like, man, don't dress like you're still back in the 90s and everything with the baggy clothes. I'm not going to lie. I was one of those dudes that wore baggy jeans a little too long, maybe a year or two too long because I didn't get the memo. All right. So you definitely want to be up on game on, somewhat the new fashion, but it's always like a classic look you can have as an older guy. You don't got to overcomplicate it. Because I be getting on dudes that still be dressing that 2 Chainz in their 40s with, monkey
with braids,
shit.
with gray braids.
Yeah. Like it's a lot of dudes in Atlanta that be dressing like they in their 20s. I just be laughing at them with the skinny jeans. I just be like, bro, come on, man. And of course, I'm, smelling good. This is what you were saying, Andre. Everything you were saying is basically in this blog or article.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So these are some things, just a reminder. I know some of you older guys already know this, but this will definitely help you while you overseas. Of course, you gotta have your bag right. Okay. Still be discreet about your wealth. One thing I would say in Medellin to not do, guys, is to brag about how much money you got. Okay. Because if the woman wants you for you, she wants you for you. Romance is very big out there in the Colombian culture, but also as a safety thing because guys be getting robbed and drugged. And in some cases, they be getting got for their crypto. And I'm like, well, how did she know you had crypto, bro? So be discreet with your wealth, man. That's all over the world. Be discreet with your wealth. All right. Be authentic. Still be yourself. All right. Don't be like, some of these guys that, in America, in their 40s, acting like street dudes, acting like thugs to try to pull women. Okay. Because sometimes, when you invite that energy, you try to exude that energy, you invite that energy, and that energy might come to you. So be careful like that. I remember, guys, when I was, I was kind of playing up my little edginess a little bit, just a tad. All right. And I had this chick, I had like an old school car, old school whipping. And we had a little something in the car. We had just did our little, little Friday thing or whatnot. And we riding down I-20. All right. And the police get behind us. The Cal police get behind us. It might have been my man Dre. But the police got behind us. All right. And I'm just losing all my little thug frame, Andre. I'm losing all my. I'm like, oh shit, the goddamn police! I'm all paranoid and shit. And she's like, calm down. It's just the police. We just got a little weed on us. Like, calm down. And she, at that point, she knew that BMT wasn't no street dude. All right, so make sure to be authentic. You know what I'm saying? Be authentic. Okay. Have your options, man. Still have your options, guys. We all know that women's, they emotional and they can change. So. Still have you a few options. And that's one of the articles that I wrote in the blog. All right, guys. All right, so we're going to go ahead and close up the show. Danny, I'll let you have the floor for the moment in closing.
Okay, I want to thank BMT for having me. I thank Andre and Austin for showing up and giving us some good conversation. Just to close out this topic, I'm a big believer in game. I like to have the best things in life. I want to have live the highest standard of life that I can. And I believe in self-improvement. And I think there are too many guys in the travel community who they think that traveling is an excuse to not focus on self-improvement and to just accept oh, I am what I am. I'm not looking at getting any better. I just want someone who's going to take me for who I am without me needing to be a better person. And I don't think that's a winning mindset. I think to have a successful mindset, reading those books that BMT recommended, just reading regularly, like having a list of things that you're constantly putting in your mind, becoming a better person. I think that's how you get the best life. And, I advocate for guys. If you ever want any information, any book suggestions, just hit me up. And yeah, thanks for having me on here.
Excellent, excellent. Always Flight Madness in the building. All right, guys, make sure to check out his channel. All right,
Oh, yeah.
my man Andre, you have the floor.
Oh, just in closing, guys, I'm not an advocate for said game, except for you if you're still in the States. I got you, brothers. I understand why we need to have game if you're still in the States. But the biggest game that you will ever have is just being you on a global basis. Austin has discovered that he could just be himself and be successful. So has Danny. So has Aaron. We discovered that we do not have to put on this image for one group of women, and then I met a different woman. I got to put on a different facade, or I got to come at this one a little different. You got to do that in South America or in any other parts of the world that we're just described. Just be the man who you are, and that is the biggest game or game changer. And based off of what Danny was saying, a part of that being who you are, or that game that you guys want to call it, is yes, self-improvement. As you improve as a man, your confidence improves, not just your economic blessings or your physical blessings, but as you improve and you're going after goals while you're in other countries. I've made 10x economically outside of the United States in the last 5 years than I had in the United States in my last 5 years there, and I was making 87 a year. So don't think that you can't continue to upgrade who you are, and that the more improved you will be the game that you need for most of the women that you'll meet in all these other countries.
Man, powerful, brother. Powerful, man. All right, so guys, it's been an excellent show. I want to thank the panel for coming on, and I also want to thank you guys for tuning in. All right, till next time, we out. Peace.
Oh yeah.
See ya.
All right, gentlemen.
All right.
Passport Bros, your ultimate travel companion. Download the app for free and embark on a journey where your adventures not only become unforgettable memories, but also opportunities to earn. With Passport Bros, your travel content is more than just photos and videos. It's your ticket to a fully monetizable network of like-minded adventurers. Imagine making money from your travel stories. Post videos, share your experiences, and let the world be a part of your journey. But that's not all. Connect with travelers from around the globe, join co-ed groups, and make lasting friendships, perhaps even with foreign women who share your passion for exploration. And here's the best part. Store your earnings securely in your Passport Bros wallet. No hassle, no worries. Just seamless transactions wherever your travels take you. Looking for the best local experiences? Passport Bros has got you covered. Get personalized recommendations for tour guides, rentals, and the hottest clubs in town. Did we mention the app is absolutely free to download? That's right. Your passport to a world of adventure is just a click away. And here's the cherry on top. With Passport Bros, you can make money while exploring new places. Turn your passion for travel into a source of income, right from your mobile device. So what are you waiting for? Download Passport Bros now, share your journey, connect with fellow explorers, and let the adventure begin.
Download now on the App Store and Google Play.
An American. Is that American? Yeah. I did it in the past.
I beg your pardon?
And I actually like it. I love it because Americans are very different than Colombians. They are always like, they appreciate you a lot. They tell you that you're looking beautiful because maybe in US, the girls don't get ready like a lot like us. You know how that bitch. Bruh. You heard it. The dreadheads do it the best. So for me, it's like very nice that a guy appreciate you all the time. So that's very cool. I like it. It's very nice. And in Colombia, we love foreigners. Everything different is very nice.
Download now on the App Store and Google Play.
Excuse me, I have to tell you this. You are the most beautiful woman in the world.
Most beautiful woman in the world.
Look
How
at this
would
woman.
you know? This guy doesn't even have a passport. I have a passport, and I know when I see the most beautiful woman in the world. And you ain't it. Excuse me.
Asshole.
What a dick.
This ugly ass.
I'm getting a passport soon.
I love your app.
Download the Passportbros app.
Well, y'all know what it is. Download the app.
Y'all need to join that Passport Bros app.
Download now in the App Store and Google Play.